Once again, welcome to our channel. I'm super excited. As you can see, I'm happy. The support you have given me means a lot. I always say thank you so much. May God bless you. And in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please press that subscription part. Anyway, last time tukiwa live pale X, nilisikia watu wakisema kwamba hawataki kiongozi yeyote amewahi fanya kazi na serikali kusimama president. And there is someone who tried to mention jina ya Matiang'i, Fred Matiang'i, ambaye wakati wake mnajua ile kazi ambayo aliweza kuifanya, pia kuna yale mazuri alifanya, pia kuna yale mabaya walifanya. Nilisikia watu wakijibishana vibaya sana. Watu walikaj, wanasema you catch feelings, walikaj ma feelings. Wakachipishana vile walichipishana, wengine wakasema watamsupport, wengine wakakataa wakasema kwamba hatutaki mtu yeyote amewahi fanya kazi na serikali. Na Matiang'i wakati wake alipokuwa interior cabinet, kuna yale maofu yalitendeka. Kuna wale wanasema kwamba kazi yake ilikuwa sawa. Wewe mwenyewe sijui pengine ulikuwa na msimamo upi, wewe ndio unajua. So wakati wa Gen Z demonstrations, Gen Z walionekana wakiwa mstari wa mbele sana, wakimuomba Fred Matiang'i ajitokeze aingie saidi yao ili waone namna ya kumuondoa Ruto ofisini. Matiang'i alinyamaza kidogo, hakuweza kuongea jambo lolote. Despite Gen Z calling for him ajitokeze aseme kwamba ako willing awe supported na our Gen Z movement ili aweze kusimama kama mtu ambaye ana support Gen Z na atuelekeze namna ya kumngoa mamlakani. Lakini Matiang'i hakuweza kujitokeza. Baadaye ndio tuliweza kusikia video akisema kama mnataka mimi nisimame kama mmesema nyinyi kama Wakenya, basi nitaitikia wito. Lakini ilifika wakati fulani Wakenya waka-change minds, especially the Gen Z waka-change mind, wakasema kwamba hata Matiang'i hawafanyi nini, hawamtaki. So Matiang'i ameenda missing for some time, and now tumeshtukia boom, Matiang'i anataka kusimama 2027 as a president, na ameweza kuomba kura zenu kama majenzi na millennials. So sijui wewe mwenyewe mahali unanitazama, je, utampa ama itakuwaje? Anyway, I'm going to compile some videos za Matiang'i kutoka hapo nyuma akiongea, so that you listen. Sometimes it's good tujikumbushe. Hapa kama Team Inject lazima tujikumbushe zile vitu ambazo zimepita na current, so that tujue where we are heading. So Matiang'i ameweza kujitokeza na kusema haya. Imeandikwa kumuhusu, so this is something iko confirmed. Former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i enlists the services of the Canadian lobbying firm Kenyans and Madison, committing a retainer fee of Kenya shilling 32 million for his campaign push towards the 2027 presidential election. That means Matiang'i amesema wasi kwamba 2027 atakuwa pale kwa ballots. The firm, led by controversial former Mossad agent Arben Menashe, will lobby influential agencies in Kenya, the United States, and other foreign governments to boost its international profile and support fundraising efforts. Documents filed with the United States Department of Justice under the Foreign Agents Registration Act show that Matiang'i has already made $65,000 down payment to the firm's service. Kenyans and Madison recently had a similar role in the 2024 Botswana elections, where they successfully supported the campaign of newly elected President Duma Poko. Nimeona Wakenya wengi sana wakireact about what Matiang'i had to say. Kile ningependa kusema ni kana kwamba Wakenya wamechoka na wale watu ambao wamefanya kazi kwa hii regime, but there are some people who are planning to support him. I just want to read some comments here hivi tujue what next. Dr. Matiang'i all the way, Ruto must go. Sugoi man needs a real enkororo. Okay, he has my vote already. He has my vote. Any option against Ruto is a deal done for me. Let him come. He is what we need against RUTO. I urge Kenyans to be very careful in the coming election. We cannot afford singing another must go immediately after voting. Right now, everyone has a chance against the current Mobutu in 2027. And so there will be gulfs hovering around to take that advantage. Let's critically analyze these candidates. Personally, Matiang'I is a no. Give a man power and you will see how he handles others. Kenyatta 2022, we saw what Matiang'I is capable of. This is another Mobutu Seseko on the line. Okay. Me and Kalonzo reading this. The person who knew what whether the child joins private or public university, he or she deserves government scholarship as long as he is placed by KUSIPs. This one will make me vote for him. The current regime has discriminated Kenyan children. Yes, and this will mark the end of Kikuyu Kalenjin politics. Let's have other tribes-led leaders. We have had deputy Jesus of Kenya and tax collector. Let Matiang'I also have his contribution. You don't need to campaign, sir. You don't need to move around with helicopter. You need to only have a clearance certificate and campaign will work for you. Sasa sita mchana utakuwa 78 total cast votes. So guys, I don't know what's your take. Wewe kama mtazamaji wa Cyprian TV, nimekuachia hilo swali uweze kutujibu. Je, utaweza kumsupport Matiang'I ama utasema la? Meanwhile, let's watch these videos. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
And actually, I am flattered, when a lot of people ask me why I didn't run for president or why I should run for president. I've had this, and I'm sincerely flattered. And I thank those who think that way. But as I said to you, and I think it's good to also respect my views because I am also an individual human being. This journey continues. It hasn't stopped. I may have deferred some of my ambitions to be able to do what I am doing right now and to continue to do the things I need to do. But we continue on this journey and on this trajectory, as it were, of public service. Whenever and wherever I am called to serve my country, I always will answer yes, because as I said before, there is nothing more noble than to be asked to serve your country. Whether you are being asked to serve your country as a watchman, as a police officer, as a cabinet minister, or as president. Because many people go through life without getting that particular opportunity. To be called to serve your country is a great thing and is a very noble thing. That's one of the reasons why, as I said, I'm really grateful to my president for the opportunity that he has given me and the trust he has bestowed. And so as this journey of life continues, I would continue to serve my country because as long as God gives me breath and as long as I have strength to offer service to my country, to my fellow men, I am going to continue serving my country. I generally believe that the future belongs to the Lord. And the Lord orders our ways and orders our steps, as it were. What we are supposed to do as human beings is when that call comes and when that opportunity arises, we rise up to the opportunity by the grace of God. And you know what has happened with this election? And I said it in another meeting, that after the COVID-19 pandemic, now the new pandemic we are dealing with is the pandemic of lies. Yeah. It's the pandemic of lies. People stand up and they say things that they think make sense. I've been looking at politicians, and fortunately I have the opportunity of having served in cabinet. I know how a budget is drawn and I know how much money we have in our resources to draw a budget. When a political leader, a national leader tells people, I will put aside 150 billion for market women. I'll put aside 50 billion for boda boda. I'll put aside 100 billion for this. I know how much our budget is and the projected growth of our budget. That time you have not talked about the amount of money that you are taking to counties. You have not talked about transfers for the education sector and so on. Where are you going to get that money to provide that kind of service? You're just lying to those people because you are telling them things they want to hear. And because they won't ask you questions, you just get along with it. You know, when you keep saying there's deep state, who is that? And the people who are using that phrase and complaining are members of the National Security Council. They hold public offices. They tell you they are powerful people. So who is that? You know, this facade and stories that are being coined and being bandied around, just so that people create excuses and they camouflage around things that don't exist to survive, or create excuses and pathways of lying and carrying the public along with them. I want to ask you as church ministers, I am your son, and as a public servant, we have a country to serve. Let us not be victims of some of these lies that you keep hearing around. But things that just don't make sense even to a fool. How will you tell people? Yeah. How will you stand up? I'm asking you. How, Bishop, how will you stand up in public and tell me, who is that? And then you don't even have the courage enough to take a decision and say, okay, because I don't agree with the Attorney General and all these people, me, I'm not going to be party to you. In the morning, you speak like government. In the afternoon, you speak like opposition. You see, the question, let's be honest. You see, the total annihilation of common sense and betrayal of common sense in the political practice in this country is shocking. When you tell people about there being who is that? What is that deep state? The Inspector General who seated here? We have passed a constitution that requires us, it's in black and white. You know, even me, if I have to give directions to the Inspector General, the law requires that I put it in writing. And since I became Minister for Interior, I told the nation the other day, I've written 2 such letters, one to Boynet and one to him, to provide policy guidance. And even before I send it, I asked the Attorney General, does it pass muster? The Attorney General says, under the law, you can't do this. So, stop here, let us proceed. Now, how can you turn around in a country of the amount of freedom that we have? Nairobi, for your record, Bishop, Nairobi houses the largest number of foreign correspondents and media houses on this continent. I've challenged people, if you don't think there's freedom in Nairobi, go and report from Addis. Yeah. With all this freedom we have, in a country where the president is insulted liberally by everybody, by opposition politicians, how will you tell me that there exists a covert, dark op element of government that is intended to do certain things? When did you last face and scrutinize and excoriate the Minister for Security? I am here to answer questions. Which is this dark side that exists? Where is it? Don't be drawn. I'm telling you, don't be drawn to some of this. You see, we are unfortunate that we have a brand of leaders. I told you earlier that the narrative we need to be discussing about the future of our country is how we handle corruption and how we create an integrity system of managing our country so that the resources God has given us can benefit our children and our children's children. Now, instead of having that conversation, the artists, the political artists who want to avoid that conversation, they come up with all manner of excuses. Oh, there are people who hate me called deep state, and you sit with them daily. So when do they become deep? When they are with you or when they are not with you? So, look, forget about this. We run an open, transparent, accountable government. Our president, my boss, is probably one of the most liberal and open-minded heads of state on this continent. We are a responsive government. I am not aware. Tell me what you want to know about this government and where you want to go, I take you there. Do you want to go and sit in MC3 in MATIANG'I's office and watch the patrol thing? And so on. When you ask questions, we will answer. But you see, to create campaign jargon, you know, this story of you must look for a way of creating some level of sympathy so that people can sympathize with you, that you are an underdog. So you create some phantom, some fictitious devils that are existent somewhere that are against you. And these devils are not described. So you use some communist type language and call them deep state. And say, you know, these people, they may be having the state, but we have God. God is for all of us. You can't have God yourself. So, Bishop, forget about this thing, my brother. Let's just go forward and build our country. That doesn't exist. Secondly, and that's why I say thank you for asking me this question, because I never get this opportunity to respond to these things. So I tell you what I think. I mean, if I wasn't before religious leaders, I would have even used a stronger language. Because this is petty, it's empty, there's nothing, it's hollow. People are just loitering around saying things that don't exist. Let them deal with issues. You know, I keep telling people, these elections are like an interview. You leaders have conducted interviews before, haven't you? So when I come before you, you tell me, Fred, good, you want this job? Yes. Where have you been? I tell you, I was headmaster there, I was this. You ask me, what did you do when you were there? How did you handle the students? What did happen? And so on. People are running around here who have held public responsibilities. They are not accounting for what they did when they were holding those public responsibilities. You are the religious leaders. The story of talents in the New Testament. What did you do with the ones I gave you first before you come for more? Now, yeah. Now they are lying. Yeah. They are moving around and saying, oh, you know me. As you know, please sympathize with me. There is a certain dark group of people called Deep State who hate me. They don't like me. They don't want me to be a leader. They plot evil against me. You drive public money in that state. You eat food bought by that public state that you are condemning. You live in a house of that state. When does it become deep? And deeper than you? Forget about these jokes. Finally, you asked me, so I'm just responding to Anne's question. You asked me, how are we okay if the president is involved? You know, sometimes I don't know whether to laugh or cry. Where do we live? We have to choose what we want. Do we want democracy or autocracy? We say, okay, we are a democratic institution. When did the president lose his democratic rights? So that he's supposed to keep quiet because you are president, see no evil, hear no evil, say nothing. You are president. When you try to say, we tell you, no, you are president, keep quiet. So, don't say anything. And you are not supposed to associate with anybody, you are not supposed to tell anybody. I have not had my boss, our president, anywhere in this country, both in private and in public, telling anybody, this is a presidential decree, you must go this way. I've never heard him say such things. The president speaks like the leader of our people, like we expect all leaders to speak. In my view, this is what I think I would like would happen to our country. And you have the democratic right to agree or disagree with him. And nothing will happen to you by the way you disagree with him. And nothing will happen with you if you agree with him. That's the country we are building. You saw President Obama, before he left office, on the campaign trail for the Democratic Party candidate. Did that happen or it did not happen? That is supposed to be the icon of democracy in the world. I mean, you have seen presidents who are leaving office on the campaign trail for their successors and so on. The president is expressing his view. To gag the president and say now, you see, sometimes I wonder, one group of society is saying, our president is our leader, he should therefore guide us. Then he wakes up in the morning, he says, okay, good people, me, I think this is the way we should go. Another group comes and says, no, shut up, you are president, don't talk to us. It doesn't work like that. Let's be allow me please to use this phrase. Let's not be pretentious. Let's be honest to each other. And let us not sacrifice common sense on issues like this. Everybody can express themselves. We are in a free society. Sasa tujenge nchi yetu jamani. Na tushirikiane. Rais wetu means well. When he says, he doesn't tell us, oh, from today I have decreed. I've never heard him say that. Yeah, anasema mimi kwa maoni yangu vile naona, this is how it's. And you know, by the way, if he never gave any maoni, we'll also wonder, this one, he doesn't have a view about how we should go. And then now he's carrying the burden of leadership. As a leader, I have led you for 10 years now. I thank God for the opportunity. I've made my contribution. This is where I think I've moved the country to. And in my view, this is how I suggest we proceed. Because a lot of people lie all the time. You know, some of them now lie like a career. You know, it's like that's what they went to school to be trained. You saw those lies yesterday. You know, people lying. They lie about anything. They can't tell you anything. Probably the only truth about them is their name. They lie all the time. It's saying things that don't exist. And partly also, by the way, people would do better if they did their job. Because if they attended the meetings they're supposed to attend, if they sought briefs from the people they're supposed to be briefed, they will be briefed effectively instead of now going to embarrass themselves in that kind of manner where you say things that don't exist. And ask yourself the question, how do police officers, especially senior police officers who are managing the security sector, feel when they see their leader lying about them? Because a lot of people lie all the time. You know, some of them now lie like a career. You know, it's like that's what they went to school to be trained. You saw those lies yesterday. You know, people lying, they lie about anything. They can't tell you anything. Probably the only truth about them is their name. They lie all the time. It's saying things that don't exist. And partly also, by the way, people would do better if they did their job. Because if they attended the meetings they're supposed to attend, if they sought briefs from the people they're supposed to be briefed, they will be briefed effectively instead of now going to embarrass themselves in that kind of manner where you say things that don't exist. And ask yourself the question, how do police officers, especially senior police officers who are managing the security sector, feel when they see their leader lying about them? Give us 72 hours, you will see a complete change in this whole Kisumu hapa na tumewaambia watu wa ICT wakuja hapa saa hii. Hakuna mtu anaenda nyumbani. Tuorganize kitu, organize it properly. We get the National Youth Service personnel to assist us here so that the delivery of service is faster. We will work on this all, we will supervise it. I will be here myself tomorrow and I will be here again Monday. Mpaka hii kitu inyooke kabisa. The service is given to people properly. Asante sana.
Today is the first time we have actually seen something because he's coming here. The place is even cleaner than it usually is. Mine is from April. This thing went digital. How is it that from April I don't have a birth certificate?
Our reputation is not going to be messed up because some people don't want to do their work. Tumekubaliana nayo.
To deploy from tomorrow.
And we do it in all places. Hii huko Teleposta na kule kwingine. Wananchi wanateswa na watu. Tunalipa pesa na halafu tunatesa wananchi. Those people come, they queue indefinitely, they don't know when they are going to leave. Nini inajulikana itafanyika. We can't work like that. Na hii mahali, our brokers have made this a job. Iti wanakuja hapa kuitisha hawa watu pesa ili wasaidiwe. Why should people be supported?
Hiyo nitamaliza.
Yeah.